Our next question comes from a very concerned mom looking for a second opinion about scarring on her daughter's fingers. Nanette joins us now via Skype. Welcome, so good to have both of you.
Hi,
How are you? Welcome.
Now, Nanette, we know that your question actually involves your daughter's fingers. Can you explain what's going on?
Hi.
Yes, my daughter Anjessica was born with syndactyly. Her middle and ring finger were fused together on her left hand. You can see it here. At about a year old, we had orthopedic surgeon surgically separate the fingers, and since then things haven't been going so smoothly. She's developed some excessive scarring and some keloids, which is extremely rare to develop on the fingers. We our next step was to see a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. We're working with an amazing surgeon at CHOP, and he feels the best option is to surgically remove the keloids. However, we have to wait about 1 year after the original surgery. My concern is that the fingers are beginning to grow back together and her mobility is limited. So I just wanted to know what would be the best option to remove the keloids and ensure they won't grow back.
Well, this condition, number one, syndactyly or congenital fusion or webbing of the fingers can occur in any of the fingers, can also occur on your toes. And what the surgeons, hand surgeons, orthopedic surgeons do is separate them using an intricate set of incisions and little flaps to separate the fingers so that the fingers can move normally. So it involves, as you know, pretty extensive incisions along the sides of the finger. Quite unusual, and I think you'll agree, Dr. Batra, to see keloids form on the fingers like that. So this is a little bit of an unusual situation.
Yeah, and I think that we do see keloids form more in skin of color, so that is a bigger risk. And because she's using her hands so much, the more tension and trauma that's placed on any wound, it does predispose to keloids. But I think I looked at her records, and I do think that the surgeon's plan from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia is excellent. So I agree that she should delay having these revised, but there is a high risk of recurrence of the keloids after any sort of revision. So she's going to need really close follow-up. And the way we try to minimize that risk of recurrence is we talk about using numbing and then injecting the area with cortisone, applying cortisone. Sometimes radiotherapy can work. And in the meantime, while she's awaiting that surgery so that the function doesn't become more and more impaired like you're mentioning, we talk about silicone sheeting, which occludes the scars and softens them so they're less likely to fuse. And then sometimes even occupational therapy, which I know she's tried to some degree, is a really helpful thing to continue in the interim because it's going to, again, keep her using that hand. Because after all the effort and all the surgery you've had, you don't want those to start to fuse again because that's going to really impair her development and her function.